One, two, three. I don't need this mic then, huh? Yeah. Hello, and welcome to Life International, where the nations gather. As I welcome you today, I want you to be mindful of this fact that you're still alive and you choose to live. It is God's will, is God's plan that you will fulfill your life's destiny, your purpose, for which you are intended to live until you transition. So make the best of time, make the best out of life, and take advantage of the opportunities that you have, and let your life register as one that lived, one that did what he or she was supposed to do, and one that left this world without any regrets, but left complete, doing the Father's will. Today, I have a message that has to deal with choice. I want to talk about choice. I want to address the subject, choice. And I want you to pay close attention. And if you can invite your friends and loved ones to join us, that would be just as amazing. Let's look at the plans that you have for the rest of the day. I'm glad you chose to watch this morning. You used your ability and desire to make a choice, and I'm so pleased you did so. It's important for us to realize that nothing that we do is done without choice. We make the conscientious decision to make choice, and the choices that we make, we own them. You own the choice that you make. So in short, let me say, we are the sum total of the choices and the decisions that we make. And we all have the responsibility. We all are responsible for our own actions. You and I can't blame people for the actions or decisions that we make. In other words, any choice that we make is ours. We own them. Every one of us that wants to live and do good or live a life that is full of joy, full of peace, full of love, or want to please God and serve Him is a choice that we have to make. Amazing thing is that God never forces anything on any of us. And we all know that it's because of the free will inbuilt in us. Every human being is endowed not only with gifts, talents, and abilities, and God's best wish, but we are endowed with the gift of choice. That means God doesn't want your freedom to be oppressed or suppressed. He wanted to use your freedom, but use it wisely and use it because you choose to use it. So we make decisions all the time. We make choices all the time. And there's power in our choices. How come that two people would sit in the same class and during exam one would do better than the other? Could it be that beyond talents and ability or ability of comprehension, there is also in us that passion to either learn or dislike for books? If you make the choice to study, no matter how hard things are, you would somehow do good or you would somehow push or take your life forward. It's all about choices, and it's also about decision. What is decision? Let's define decision. What is decision? Decision is a consideration that leads to a resolution. Let me repeat it again. Decision is a consideration that leads to a resolution. When you consider a matter, a thought, an idea, and you decide to resolve, it means you have made a decision. If somebody presents a gift to you, opportunities to you, they can't force it down your throat. You have to choose to either accept it or reject it. It's a consideration that leads to a resolution. You and I have the right to choose what is best for us. And God ultimately has His best of intentions for us, but He will not do it without our participation or our involvement. So you and I have to what? Choose to work with God. So if you choose to live, then you have to do what the choice requires. You've resolved to live. And if you resolve to live, there are some few things you have to do. If you choose not to live, there are some things that you have to do. But I do not believe that any of us want bad lives for ourselves or want sad lives. We all want the best out of life. And if we want so, then we have to make choices. So that's why God says, listen, I've placed before you life and death. Therefore, choose life that you will live. A consideration that leads to a resolution. When you hear people say that I have resolved, that means they have decided. They've considered some things and they've just decided that this is the way it's going to be. If you choose not to get up and you make the decision not to get up, you'll be in bed. If you choose by decision not to eat, definitely you go hungry. Or you would manage or sustain the hunger. So decision and choices are quite important. So again, a decision is a consideration that leads to a resolution. Now let's look at the meaning of choice, because we all make choices every day. Make choices, what to wear and what not to wear. Should I go or not go? Should I marry or not marry? Should I date or not date? Should I smile or not smile? Should I cry or not? It's all choices that we make. Then let's look at choice. What is choice? The definition of choice is the act of selecting a position when faced with multiple possibilities. Choice is the act of selecting a position when faced with multiple possibilities. I'm choosing between this and that. I can choose any way and any direction. I can choose to drive, or I can choose to be in the passenger seat. When one is faced with multiple possibilities and one decides to take a position, it is called choice. You choose. There are some things that we have to determine whether it's going to be our choice. I mean, I'm going to be in this or I'm going to be out of it. I'm going to make this or I'm not going to try it at all. We have to make choices. We have to make decisions. And remember, every choice that we make results in decision. Every decision we make is a choice. And once you make that decision, you have settled for something. Once you settle for something, it means you have decided. What happens if I struggle with making decisions or choices or choosing? And I know people always say that. You know, I struggle to make a choice. I mean, and I'll not choose. I will stay neutral. I don't have to just make the wrong choice. So I may just as well not make any choice. And I want God to choose for me. Whilst it is true that God desires the best of us, there are major things in life, and 99% of things in life that we have to choose. God would desire for you to be in relationship, but you have to choose your own friends. You see, Jesus Christ, when he came, people just sprang on him. He chose his disciples. That's the choice he made. He chose his disciples and he selected them of the streets. He didn't go to the synagogue to say, hey, you come on and follow me. He went to the synagogue to speak, but he never made choices of the synagogue. He went to the streets and he looked for men and women who are dejected, or those who didn't know that they have value, or those who are just regular people and didn't think of it as individuals that had the potential of transforming the world. He went about and he called them. He said, you come and what? Follow me. You come and what? Follow me. You come and follow me. And to all of them, they acted upon their choice and decisions. They decided individually, okay, I'll come and follow you. And there were those who chose not to follow him. Some said with the good expression, which I call excuse. You know what? I have to go and bury my parents. And you know, by tradition, I am the eldest one and I have to take care of this. Excuse. People who don't want to make decisions often come up with excuses. And many times we make excuses to ease ourselves of making choices. You don't have to stay neutral when it comes to matters of life. You have to make a choice. You have to choose whose side you're on. Are you on the side of right or on the side of wrong? And let me make this point. I know that in recent times here in America, so much has happened. And we are quick to make a choice. And that is what we say, choice, choice, choice. And even within our political platform, we say what? Choose life. Some people decide not to choose life. They decide to choose death. But you choose life. The same choice or the power of choice that you exercise is the same power of choice that you and I can exercise when we see things that are going right or things that are going wrong. Many times we say, let me stay neutral. I don't want to rock the boat, and I don't want to be seen as one who is this or that. And you see, I want to be liked by both sides, so I am not going to make a choice. You have to make a choice. In life, you and I have to make decisions. And we have to make quality decisions. And also we have to make choices. You cannot play neutral when it comes to matters of life. You cannot play neutral when it comes to matters of peace, joy, decency, principles, values. You cannot be neutral. You have to actually make a choice. You have to make a choice in whatever you do. You can choose to work where you work or choose not to work. You can choose to go where you go or choose not to go where you go. It's a choice. And if you recognize it, then allow yourself to make this quality choice, then excuse will be too far from you. Avoid using excuse because excuses are cop-out. You've got to make a choice. Whatever you do, make a choice. And when you make that choice, you own not only the decision you make, you own the benefits of it and also the consequences thereof. Every human being that is born into this life, in spite of what you have may have more or you may have less, you are still exposed to opportunities. We all have opportunities. Opportunities to change our state, opportunities to change our lives, opportunities to change our minds, opportunities to change our relationships, opportunities to continue opportunities to serve, opportunities to do what we do. We all have that opportunity. We are all exposed to opportunities and privileges in spite of how things look. Today in America, we are actually afforded the opportunity to make right choice and to choose life. And if we're going to choose life, we should not only choose life at birth, we should choose life at life. Life is not only at the beginning. Let's choose. If we choose to protect and save children from being aborted, let's choose to love them, to mature and grow and fulfill their purpose and destiny. Let's not choose to be silent when right now all over the case has been many Christians are literally trying to stay neutral. I don't want to say anything concerning the killings. I don't want to say anything concerning the COVID-19. I don't want to say anything. You have to say something. But say it with conviction. Believe in what you say and say what you believe. But when you make those statements or you utter those words, remember that you are making them as a result of decisions you've made and the choices that you believe in. Every human being is exposed, again, to opportunities and privileges in spite of all things. Whether you're born with much or less, you still have opportunity. And if you don't know, you do. As long as there's a God, you still have an entry for great opportunity. Call on God, he says, in the days of trouble. And I will answer you. That's a choice. You call on God. You do what you can do. You pray. You read the Bible. You forgive. You love. You respect others. You overcome your selfishness. You appreciate people. And you value human life. You have to recognize that everyone is born equal and that we are not actually, as a result of our color, inferior or one important. Everyone is equal. It's a choice that we all make. God chose to create us. And he said, let's make man in our own image, in their likeness. It's a choice that God made. When man went against his plans and God's heart was grieved, he decided, I am going to destroy man. And he changed his mind because he saw Noah and he felt that he would use one person to restore his joy. That is why when one person comes to Christ, all the angels in heaven rejoices. It's a choice. You can choose to be happy or choose to be miserable. You can choose to hang with the right crowd or choose to hang with the wrong crowd. You can choose to appreciate knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, or you can choose to believe in nonsense, foolishness, and garbage. It's a choice. You can choose to praise God or choose to accuse God. You can choose to believe in him or you can choose to despise him. It's the choice you have. But remember, every choice has its consequences and every choice has its opportunities, as well as every choice that you make, you have the right to revisit that choice. And if it's a wrong choice, you can decide to right it. And if you choose to make right those choices, trust me, it will still have the same effect, because choice is a decision, is a resolve and determination of multiple choices, and you say, this is the way I'm going to go. So you realize how much power you have. So many times we say God is powerful. God is all-powerful. We say the devil is powerful. He has some power. But do you know that you have more power than the devil? You have more power than the devil. And the power you have is such that you can determine, I have had enough of the devil's work. And today I'm deciding I am going to reject Satan's activities. and embrace God's power, embrace God's wisdom, embrace God's word, embrace God's grace. I am going to accept what God says about me. It's a choice. And do you know that if you apply this choice effectively, you can overcome the enemy and all the works. You can overcome the negative spirit or thoughts of suicide. You can overcome the negative thoughts of hopelessness. You can overcome the negative thoughts of they are after me. You can overcome the negative thoughts that says you will not amount to anything. The power of choice, if you use it, I can guarantee you, you will go far in life. You got it. Just use it. Every one of us have it. Let's look at this point. Decisions that we make and the choices that we make, they just don't just happen like that. Do you realize that decisions were made even at inception? At the very inception. And the amazing thing about the decision is that, you know what? When the egg and the sperm have the opportunity to converse or unite, millions of sperms were competing for the same privilege, opportunity to unite or join with the egg. And do you realize that you decided to swim when others were dying? You decided to raise to the point to live. It's a decision. That is why when you get sick, everything in you fight to live. A child may be affected, be born premature, and guess what we say? This child is fighting to what? Live. It's a choice. You can choose to roll over and call it a day, or you can decide, I got to fight. I'm going to at least fight. There is no failure in trying, and there's no trying that will say you failed. It's only those who do not try that admits easily to failure. But those who try are not failures. They are attempters to succeed. So at inception, decisions were made. From the time you were conceived in the womb, you started making choices. Everyone was exposed to life or death when we were born, but we choose to live. We choose to live. I remember as a little boy, my mother would tell stories how I got so sick and the things I went through and how I overcame them. Many times she felt I wouldn't see the next day. And you know, when I hear these stories, I reflect and I say, God, it's amazing how you kept me. And I can hear God say, I was keeping you, but as little as you are, you were a soul with a future. There were plans attached to your life. And you are not going to just go out that easily. You're going to go with the noise. And you fought to live. So I believe that the fighting spirit is in all of us, and it's a choice that we make. I'm going to fight for my dignity. I'm going to fight for my self-worth. I'm going to fight for my honor. I'm going to fight for my country. I'm going to fight to protect my family. I'm going to fight to defend my friends. I'm going to fight to keep the church strong. I am making sure that I am not rolling over because I'm engaged in a fight, and I'll fight the fight of faith. It's a choice that we make. You see, it's a choice that we make. From the very time you were born, you were making choices, positive choices, healthy choices. So you and I have choices that we make. So let me break it down again, since I've mentioned quite a few things. Relationship or relationships is a choice. You can choose to be in relationship, or you can choose not to be in relationship. And there are so many factors that come to play when you talk about relationship. If you've never had one before, you get into it as a trial to see if it will work for you. But if you've been in it before and you've had experiences, you go in it not only with your eyes open, but with a decision that, you know what, I have decided I'm going to give it another try. Listen, as much as we may think people may have problems, I value people who have married so many times. The fact that you've married once and you went through negative experience and you got over it and healed and you realize that you are not meant to be single and that you need a relationship and you try it again, at least it means that you have something to give just as you have something to look for. You have so much to give of yourself to others, and others have so much to give you. So in relationship, it's a choice. You make a choice. I want a relationship or I don't want a relationship. People that come into your life, don't force their way. And if they do, it's illegal. God has given you the free will to accept or reject. And the fact that you say no doesn't make you wrong. Nor the fact that you say yes doesn't make you weak. It means that you resolved or you had a choice and you decided this is what I want to do. So you use the power of choice to make that decision. In a relationship, example, in marriage, say God chose this person for me. God may have decided that the environment that you're in, there are choices you can make. And as much as we all say that, and God chose for me, guess what? Our desire and our interest and our likeness and the way we feel determined what we felt was good for us at the time that we say, yes, I want to marry you. It's all choices we make. I know many times you make choices in relationship or choices in marriage, and at times it may not go right, but at times still you feel, you know what, it's a choice. You choose to stay or you choose to leave. It's your choice. It's a choice. I have learned for so many times or for so long, and as others say to me, you know, but you've got a good marriage. You've been married for 38 years and this, and many times I hear that, but I tell you, it is a choice that I make to maintain that relationship. It's a choice that we all make. We have professional discussions between husbands and wives. It's normal. But you know what it does? It brings the best out of you. We have disagreements, which is professional discussions. What it does is it makes you understand that you really are learning different things about each other each day. Because in a marriage, you never know the person so well or so through and through. Even until you die, you will never know the person you're living with. Because depends on the circumstance, depends on your experience, depends on your challenges, depends on what is happening. You will not know how the person will react. It's only God who knows man. How will you know a man except the Spirit of God? And it's only God who knows all of us. So let me just say to you, don't conclude that the person that is amazing cannot be less amazing, or the person that is less amazing cannot be amazing, because we don't know the outcome. It's only God who does. Unless you have a word of knowledge, unless you have the prophetic insight to a person's life, you never write off anyone. We make choices. Some people will make choice to hang with people who are deficient in certain areas. And there are some of us who want to, and many of us will make decisions based on perfection. I just want to work with nice people, rich people, strong people, healthy people. But you know something? You have to learn to make the choice that, hey, I am going to be with you. And I am willing to absorb or handle some of the challenges that goes along with it. I am making a choice, conscientious choice, that I want this relationship to work or this marriage to work. And if people make the choice or they decide they're going to stay together, it doesn't mean they will not see flaws or see difficulties. They will see all of them, but it will not deter them. And the reason being simple, because they've decided to hang with each other. It's a decision that you make, the choice. Identity is a choice. You see, you can choose to look at your birth gender as male and say, I've decided to, I chose, I'm a man. And also you can choose to say that my birth expression, gender was I was male, but I choose to be a female. It's your choice. This is a free country. It's your choice. It's your choice. You may not like what others do. That's your choice also. But you see, for me, I choose. I'm a man and I choose to be a man. I choose to be a man. And there are those who struggle with the identity. They are caught in between. I don't know whether I'm a male or female. It's a choice. You can choose to be straight or choose to be gay. It's your choice. It's your choice. You see, if people make choices and they are very close to you, and you think that the choices they are making is not the right one, and you can help them, it's just best. It's just best. But remember, if they make the wrong choice, it's their lives. It will affect them. If you make the wrong choice, it's your life. It will affect you. That is something that is amazing about life. I choose to be who I am. I choose to be an African American. I choose to be a male. And I choose not to see myself as a color because I am not black. Black you can't see. It's too dark, you can see. I choose to say that, you know what, even though we labeled and we use these labels and we hide behind the labels to do bad, to harm, suppress, and reject others and look down upon them, that doesn't make them less. That doesn't make them less. And let's get it straight. It's a choice. We have to understand. I choose not to allow my light skin to make me feel better than this person. I choose to say that the fact that I was born in this part of the world doesn't make me better than this person. I choose. It's a choice. It's a choice. You see, you can choose to be a Christian and you can choose to be an atheist. You can choose to be a believer and you can choose to be a doubter. You could choose to walk in faith and you could choose to walk in doubt. It's all a choice. So identity is a choice. It's a choice. If you believe that a loved one has made the wrong choice and you can help them, fine. But remember, it's resolved. So when we talk about choice, it's a big thing. The power of choice is a big thing. You can choose to progress or choose to regress. And there are some things that we have to come to grips with because so long and too long, we live in our little world, little cocoon, and we surround ourselves with what we know, and we don't see the outer world, nor the bigger world. But the fact is, if you are going to have an impact in this life, you have to look beyond your four walls, look beyond your sphere of influence, and realize that the world is bigger than your little world. Isn't it the truth that here in America, many of us did not think that there's a world outside than America? We find it hard to understand other cultures because we made our world the central world. But it's dawning on us that the world is bigger than America because that is the reason why here in America, North Carolina will play South Carolina and they call it the World Championship. It's not the World Championship. It's a regional championship. Because our worldview is here. We have to begin to open our minds and see beyond that. And I can tell you the greatest teacher of all, the wisest man that ever lived the planet Earth, whose impact is still being felt all over the world. I call him the master teacher, the essence of wisdom, the restorer of all things, and his name is Jesus Christ. But you realize that Jesus not only made choice, but what Jesus did is so amazing. Jesus Christ not only extended mercy to people, he will find people who are desperately in need, and he ask them in a question form, do you want to be made whole? I can't force you to be well, but do you want to be made whole? When he saw the man who's been paralyzed for so many years, the master teacher approached and said to him, do you want to be made whole? And the man responded. Jesus Christ had a worldview that is unlike any other. Guess what? When he found people when he chose the people that he made his disciples, and he assigned them by training and equipping them for 3 years, 3 short years, or 3.5 short years. Listen to what he said to them as part of his final instruction before he left them. He said, I want you to go to all the world. I want you to go to all the world. Don't stay here, because your greatest knowledge is in Jerusalem, Samaria, and Judea. But I want you to know that here, it's good, but I want you to reach everywhere. Our lives is usually there and here. We don't see everywhere. We have to make the choice that is so positive that the impact that we'll have would be affecting those who are here and everywhere, whilst we learn lessons from those of the past. Choose you this day whom you will serve. That's the power of choice. Jesus said, you go to the world. I want to give you a vision of the world. Make disciples of all men, everywhere, irregardless of their background, irregardless of their color, irregardless of their culture, irregardless of their beliefs. Make disciples of them and teach them to observe the things that I'm teaching you. It's a choice. And that's exactly what they did. They chose to follow him. They chose to obey him. And they chose to honor him. It's the same thing as a choice that we make. Like career, it's a choice. You have to choose what career. If you choose not to follow any career, it's a choice. The fact that you don't choose is a choice. If you decide not to decide, it's a decision. A career. This is my career. I'm going to stay in this field. This is going to be my track. It's a choice that we make. You have to decide which career path you want to follow. The power of choice. Do you realize it doesn't come easy at times? You may have challenges, but if you have that power of choice, there are things you will do that will surprise you. I am going to do this because I've decided this is what I am going to do, and I'll do the best that I can. The power of choice. In fact, I just got started. I've not gone even deeper into the message. But let me make this point, because I'm watching the time. It's education. It's a choice. I'm going to decide, or I'm deciding, or I have decided, this is my choice. I'm choosing this university over the other, this high school over the other, this meal over the other. It's a choice that we make. Educational choices. We make choices. It's a choice. You have to choose. Also with community. You choose. We choose the community you want to belong to. If you want to belong to the Christian community, it's a choice. If you want to belong to the community that hates everything else, it's a choice. We've got to choose. We have to choose, and we have to be on the side of right, because posterity will judge our choices. We have to choose which church we attend. It's a choice. You choose, it's a choice. You choose, you go as you please and come as you please. I have been privileged to serve a wonderful congregation, Life International. And as one of the leaders here, 35 years being in the same spot, I have seen so much there is to see. But I always remind people that you have a choice to come and have a choice to go. Don't you feel obligated and guilty if this is where you feel you should be. And don't feel bad either if you feel this is not the place for you. It's a choice. You don't have to walk about with the cultish tendencies, controlling and manipulating people, forcing people, making people feel that they don't have a choice. Listen, you've got a choice. You've got a choice. You've got a choice to go to the church you want to go to. But you realize that when it comes to choices, there are so many of us who have negative things in our spirit, and we've got to address it. And let me say this, and I want to say it with all humility. There are some people, because of the color of their skin, they have chosen wrong. That in spite, if there is a black pastor here or a brown pastor here, no matter if they have the word of God to be a blessing to you, because you consider your skin color superior, you rather go where your people are than stay where you can be fed. Again, it's a choice. As hard as it is and difficult as it is, it's a choice. It's a choice to acknowledge the color of your skin and decide that, you know what, I am black and I'm not white. And I will not deny who I am. It's a choice that you make. And the fact that you make that choice should not mean you should be oppressed or suppressed on the job because your boss doesn't like the color of your skin. And it's a choice for you to stay there if you can manage it. And it's a choice for you to walk if you can't take it. The power of choice. The power of choice. Oh, you know, it's the same thing when it comes to government, power of choice. Our government chooses to do what is good and necessary by our people. That is what we are, United States of America, or any government for that matter. They choose what they have to do. It's their choice. And if you want to persuade somebody who's making the wrong choice, you have to do it cautiously, carefully, tenderly, gingerly. Do it with such class so that you don't come across arrogantly or come across brutish or come across not considering where people are. Help people to make the right choice. That's what parents do. We help our children to make the right choice so that when they grow, their choices will be positive. And by the way, for the sake of those of you who are watching and said, you know, he has not read the Bible yet, at least let me read the Bible so you have confidence and say, at least he read the Bible. Because some of you may say, you know, I listened to him and he never read the Bible. Let me read the Bible. There's a scripture in Luke chapter 15. Just listen carefully. Luke chapter 15. And it says in verse 11 to 32 about the prodigal son, the lost son. I'll give you the scenario. This young man felt that where he was living with his parents was so boring, so he decided to travel. And he decided to request for his portion of the inheritance. Reluctantly, the father yielded and gave him what he requested or asked for. That is the power of choice. He chose to request, and the father chose to give him. This young man took his belongings and he traveled to a far country. Not only did he journey to this far country, but he enjoyed life to the max. And he really, really spent all of his wealth. And he got to a point where famine hit in that spot. He got so hungry, he had no food to eat. Again, he used the power of choice and decided, I am going to find me a job. Some of you have been loathing on others and you never decide to get off your behind and go to work. You have to choose to do something positive for your life. Nothing comes free. You have to choose to earn, at least in life. This young man chose to go work, and he worked to feed pigs. He served so well, so he was able to have something to eat, because a laborer is worthy of his hire. If you choose to work, you eat. If you choose not to work, you're supposed to go hungry. That's what it is. So this young man did the best he could. He would feel himself by feeding off the food of the pigs. And he came to his senses and he decided, I have to make another choice. I'm going to get up here. At least when I consider the servants in my home, the home that I left, when I made the wrong choice, I consider they live much better. But here I am, a royal, eating pig's food. I am getting up and going back to my home from whence I came, because at least If worse come to worse, I'm going to request that my father will make me one of his hired servants. This is my motive. I am going to start from somewhere. I am not coming in there and pretend that I still have the same spot. I lost the spot, and until I'm invited to that spot, I am going in humble. You see, when you lose your spot, you choose and you lose grace, and you're coming back. Don't come back in arrogance. Go back small. And this applies to our nation. It applies to our Christian community. It applies to every family. It applies to every individual. If you make the wrong choice and you mess up and you want to come back with humility. Whether your tail is between your legs or whether you're coming, sober, at least come make that choice. I am going here to get things right. Don't come with arrogance and pretend it will go away. Make the choice. I'm going to demonstrate that I've learned a lesson out of my disobedience. I have been wise now as a result of my decisions, which were not so wise. If you make that choice, I'm telling you, things will change. This guy made the choice. I'm going back home, and at least I can start from the servant's position. And guess what? He not only made that decision, he acted upon it. He got home. And the father, who's been waiting for him for so long, every day sitting by his window looking out, saw him approaching. And the excitement and the joy, overwhelming. When he got home, the father, in spite of his expression, his brokenness, and the things he has told his father as a result of the wrong decision, the father decided, I'm going to put him back in his place, but at least this time higher. Because I have not had music in this house since he left. I have never given to my son the kind of welcome that he deserves because he is with me so much. But now that he's gone and he's coming back, I'm deciding to put my son where he belongs. When you walk out of grace and you come back, God decides to put you up. That's the way it's supposed to be. So are you going to use the power of decision effectively, or are you going to not do it as you're supposed to do it? We are created to make decisions. And we are also subject in making quality decisions or poor decisions. That is why relationship is important and the people you spend time with. If you have parents that are wise, hang on them. If you have pastors that are wise, hang on them. If you have mentors that are wise, hang on them. Hang on and hang around people who will help you make right decisions. Don't hang around friends who can help you to spend and blow off all that you're supposed to be preserving for tomorrow. This young man was received by the choice of the father. And he learned not only a lesson, but at least the lesson we can learn is that when you make the wrong choice, you can reverse it. You can make the right choice. But do it and do it quickly. The expression that we always use, I can't help it. For example, I can't help it. It's the wrong thing to say. You can help it. As long as you can make a decision, you can help it. I can't make up my mind. You know that's not true. You can. Maybe you are afraid of the consequences, or you are worried that if you make that decision, you lose something. That decision is a choice. That choice is a decision. And if you want to be in a relationship, it's a choice. If you don't want to be, it's a choice. If you want to work, it's a choice. If you want to marry, it's a choice. If you want to start all over again after COVID-19, it's a choice. If you want to just say that the past was better than now, it's a choice. Everything that you do today is a choice. And the power of choice resides inside you. Don't let anyone force you to make the wrong choice, especially when you have the opportunity and privilege to make a good one. We are all sum total of the choices that we make. I couldn't finish the message, but I'll pick it up another time. Let's make the right choices. This coming Wednesday, I will continue the rest of this message. Stay tuned, and I pray that the Lord will minister to you effectively. Listen to me. Do you need prayer? If your choice is yes, I'll pray for you. Do you want to be generous and bless others? If your choice is yes, then don't forget to go online and give, www.lifeinternational.us/give. Is it your determination to not allow COVID-19 to strip you of your potential, and that you will make a choice to say, no matter what is happening, I will see good, or I will make best out of my present circumstance? Then take advantage of this message. Stay diligent. Stay close to God. Don't let your heart be troubled. Decide that no matter what, you still believe in the unchanging God with our changing world. Father, in the name of Jesus, I prayed for your people. I pray for your grace and blessing upon their lives. And I pray, Lord, that you help them to make the decision to decide to open their lives up to you and have you bless them. I pray for all the people who are watching. Pray for Life International. Pray for our nation. Pray for our communities. Pray for the races. And pray, oh God, that you would sustain your people as we decide to make the choice to believe you. Because when we ask, whose report will you believe? We choose to believe in the report of the Lord our God. For those who are sick, who are trusting you, who've making a choice to trust you for healing, may you extend your healing power to them even this moment and heal them. And to the minds that are confused, may you give them the power of choice to say that it shall be well, because the Lord is my peace, and he rolls away my burdens. I bless your people today in Jesus' name. Amen. Again, take your time this morning and give. You go online and give, and may the Lord bless you, sincerely forgiving. If you want to be a member of Life International Family, global, or an associate, or a partner, or affiliate, we'll welcome you. And God bless you. Just go online and express your interest. Use your power of choice, and we will honor it. God bless you.